You ready for this disaster? Here we go. Okay, so a little bit of backstory. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a total bluegrass journey together. We're gonna fail miserably together, or if you are a seasoned picker, I gotta get the lingo right. I have a lot of relatives in Arkansas, and this is what they play, and they're amazing. But we're gonna try and learn some bluegrass stuff together, all right? And I did a poll on the channel, and I asked you guys if you'd like to watch me fail miserably, get up, learn, fail, succeed. So that's what we're gonna do. So grab your guitar, acoustic or electric, it doesn't matter, all right? But did you guys see, drop in the comments, did you see I know you guys all watch Rick Beato, because who doesn't, but did you guys see the interview with Billy Strings? And if you don't know Billy, he's probably one of the best, if not the best, current bluegrass player in the world. And bluegrass just has a very distinct style, acoustic guitar, stand-up bass, fiddle, which I'm going to try and rope my 9-year-old back into getting his violin and making it a fiddle, and seeing where we can take this. So this is going to become a playlist. But again, on that poll I did on the channel, out of every single vote was 100% that you want to see me struggle. And I think that's important for you to see, all right? So if you're new, watch some of my other videos, but I'm human like you. Now, if you want to improve or get better at your craft, I can just stay in my comfort zone and keep making videos on here but I'm not gonna grow. I'm not gonna keep having fun. So that's what we're gonna do. So I've got a little ebook linked below. Look at this chart right here. Looks like a total disaster, but we're gonna peel it apart. There's a few other layers, and we're gonna come away with some understanding of riffs, licks, and just trying to figure out this bluegrass thing. And I want you to come along with me on my journey. Let's make it our journey. Now, if you're a seasoned picker, look, I even wore my Padres trucker hat. I gotta try. I should have had I have a camouflage one that would have been better. But drop in the comments. Give us tips, pointers, and all that. All right, so on the chart, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna strip this away. Boop, let's go to the next chart. If you look, and I got it right here, I just gotta make sure. So essentially, we're gonna go through 3 triads, and this is the progression, and I purposefully did not look up a bunch of stuff on bluegrass before this video, because I wanna seem as clueless as I truly am. You need the raw me. So you see how this is a G major triad. So essentially, the foundation is gonna be a G, what I did in that little intro there, a C, okay, and then a D, C, G. So a 1, 4, 5, and that's a very common bluegrass progression. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna be in the key of G because we have all the open strings, okay? And we're gonna add in the E blues. I'm gonna isolate some blues chromatic runs for you. That's all in the chart, linked below. But we're gonna go through each piece of the chart. So this G major triad, okay, GBD, G, okay? So now the triads are just stripped down versions of the full chords, okay? So I give you 2 positions, GBD, GBD, okay? And at the end of this, I'm gonna show you some ideas, and I'll probably throw in a few as I'm showing the charts of little exercises you can do. Now, promise me this, because I don't know if you're a total beginner, intermediate, super advanced. I don't know your level of bluegrass. Consider me more of like a beginning bluegrass player. Now, I do have the technical skills of being a guitar player, and I know where a lot of the stuff is. So, at the very least, take at least 1 to 2 things you can take away from this lesson and don't feel overwhelmed, all right? That's not what we're trying to do here. And so GBD, GBD, okay? So try it. Maybe just go back and forth between these 2. Okay, now, we haven't made it bluegrassy yet, but we'll get there, so stick with me, all right? Now, in the top left of the chart, I want you to remember that GBD is what makes up a G major triad, and it's the 1 chord, because we're in the key of G, okay? But G, C, and open D are always gonna be home base. And that's kind of what I did in the intro. Yes, it was a disaster, but that's what we're working on, right? All right, so GBD, 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 GBD. So 1, 3, 5, meaning root, 3rd, 5th, right in order, all right? All right, now let's go to the next triad chart. Okay, this is C, the C triad, and I'll explain that purple G in just a minute, okay? So let's look at the red part. So C, E, G, same shape, C, E, G. Here's our 1, 3, 5 up here. Now notice we're on the D, G, B string set, C, E, G, and then C, E, G here. Okay, so go back and forth between those two. Okay, now the G, C, E, that's an inversion of a C, and I'm gonna show you why in a minute, because I actually have a little lick I came up with on the couch last night. I have to show you that's gonna use that, okay? Now we're not making the music part, right? We gotta build this plane before we can fly it. We can't just take off with a set of wings and nothing else. Because that's all we got right now. It's like we're getting the second wing, okay? So, again, you guys, at the end of anything I teach you on this channel, always, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna make a point. I don't wanna hear from anybody, there's too much, I'm leaving, I can't. No, you gotta put in the work, all right? So just take away one thing. I don't care if you just remember a C major triad is C, E, G, C, E, G. And I'm gonna give you a little quiz at the end of each little section here, and you drop in the comments if you passed it. But don't cheat, but do grab the booklet, okay? So C, E, G, up, C, E, G, shake, C, E, G, G, C, E, okay? So maybe just go around between those and get comfortable. Now I am using a pick, because I wanna stay true to the form of flat picking, but we'll get to the finger part later. All right, let's go to the next triad chart, which is part of the progression, and there's D, okay? So we got D, F sharp, A, D, F sharp, A, okay? So boop, boop, doo, doo. Maybe you just arpeggiate that. Just go back and forth and get your hand movements comfortable. Now you guys have heard me say this before, and I'll say it again, until you can kind of get the flow going, between the, going between the two different positions, okay? I want you to just try and keep that rhythm, but if you have to take your strumming hand out or your picking hand, just go back and forth like this, just with your front hand. See that? Get that little drummer going, okay? Now again, the purple note, that's an inverted triad. That's a 5-1-3, A, D, F sharp, okay? And again, I put that in there on purpose because you're gonna see I do a little lick that we're gonna put in the music making part for this. All right. So you got that, D, F sharp, A, okay? All right, so just see if you can get going back and forth between all those shapes, all right? Hopefully I'll stay in tune here, all right? All right, so let's go to the next chart, okay? Now this is gonna be a lot. So this is an E blues scale. Now, let me explain why there's a bunch of yellow notes. There's gonna be a separate chart that isolates those. And there's one purple note, and I'll get to that. But just stick with me. Now, on the top left, E blues, E, G, A, B flat. That's what makes it blues. That's the flat 5, B, and D. Essentially, all this is, let's simplify it for our big brains, okay? It's an E minor pentatonic scale, but we're adding the flat 5. So I've got three what would be E minor pentatonic positions, but we're adding the flat 5, okay? And it's turning into E blues. Now, the reason I put them in yellow is because those are the chromatic little blues runs, and on the next chart, I'm gonna isolate those, and you're gonna love that I did that because it's gonna separate it out into one more isolated layer to help you burn that in your brain. Burn it in your brain. So, just run, let's just go up, let's work our way down from the higher fret. So, right here, if we did that E minor pentatonic, and now why E minor? Because that's the 6. That's the relative minor to G, okay? So we got E, G, A, B, D, E, G, A, B, D, E, G. Now we're adding in the flat 5, B flat, so we've got this now. You might, look, let me tell you this too. You might not even do this bluegrass thing. I'm gonna see how far I can take it, how much bandwidth I have for it. But at the end, no matter what, bottom line is by the end of this lesson, you're gonna have some new ideas and new tools for your musical catalog you can use in any genre of playing. It's up to you. You're the one controlling this beautiful thing called the guitar. So watch this. So now let's just run this position. Okay, listen. There's that flat 5. All right, so run that scale. Okay, now let's go down to the next starting E blues, which is on the A string right here on the 7th fret. So you see that, E, G, A, B flat, B, D, E, G, A, B, D. I'll get why I put that purple B flat there in just a minute. So just try that one in. Okay, so again. Now I know we're not doing bluegrass yet, but stick with me here. We're gonna get to it, okay? So this is the E blues, okay? This is the second position. Now the reason I threw that purple B flat in there is just like a little connector note. It's a great little run to connect between, okay? To slide into the other E blues position, the first one we covered, okay? So maybe today the only takeaway you get is just learning how to connect two E blues positions, and that's fine. We're not gonna be Billy Strings by the end of this lesson. I can guarantee that. Oh man, but if I ever get on stage with Billy, fingers crossed, if you're watching this, Billy, or hang out with Rick, at least they can know they inspired us to put in the work and try and learn something new. All right, so now let's go down to where the G open chord is gonna live, right? Remember, you're always gonna go down here to home where G, C, and D are. And I didn't put G, C, and D open because I'm assuming you know those, right? You got that. If you don't, let me know. I'll make you a special chart, maybe with rainbow colors. All right, so G, open A, B flat B, excuse me, G, okay? Then open D, E. Okay, so just get that going. And to be fully transparent with you, I haven't used the blues scales as much as I should, and a lot of you have been asking me to do lessons on this, so perhaps I will parlay this into some great little blues lessons. All right, so just run those three positions, okay, because all this stuff I'm giving you is a cumulative. We're building that little foundation for our attempt. We'll call it for now, attempt at bluegrass, okay? Do I have the look down? You guys like the Padres? This is their City Connect hat, by the way. I know I got a lot of San Diego people on here. If you're a Dodgers fan, I still love you because you're on the channel, all right? I'll forgive you for that. All right, now let's go to the next chart, okay? So, boop. Now this one is essentially just pulling out those chromatic blues runs from those, well, there's a couple added in there as well, okay? So 1, 2, 3, there's 6 of them. So this is just a little chromatic blues run, okay? I like isolating those because you might want to use those as just little areas to do licks. So excuse me. All right. Now, let me be honest. I got to work on that too. I need to put in the work. So again, those are just little runs. So maybe just take one. Just take one position, burn it in your brain. And here's like a little exercise you can do before we get to it. Maybe do a little chromatic run and just go back to the G to get a little ear training. So for example, what if I do this one here on the high end? I went to C, so we could do this. Let's do a little exercise now before we get to what we're really trying to get at, which is making some bluegrass music, which, again, get some cotton for your ears. I might have them bleeding by the end. All right, so G, and then a little run. G, ups, shake. Maybe try G to C, chroma, G to D. Now that's starting to sound a little bluegrassy, right? For you guys that are bluegrass pros, you're like, but we're gonna get there. Be patient with us, help us, drop some comments, okay? So, okay, or you could do this now. What if you do G and you do like a little lick out of the E blues scale? Okay, with some of those runs. So let's see. Okay, now that's something I thought of really cool too. Before we kind of go in and get rid of this last chart, One thing that is great about the key of G is you can utilize the open strings. And if there's one thing I do remember about playing with my uncle in Arkansas and his friends, and I was honestly, let's just be honest, I was totally lost, all right? And that's okay, because Billy Strings in his interview said with Rick Beato that there was times he was totally lost and he just didn't understand the language, but I really loved how he said he went to his teacher, he has a teacher, okay, and he put in the work, because he didn't want to feel, you never want to come across something on the guitar or anything in life and you want to do it and not know how. You want the power, you want to empower yourself, but you gotta fail, work, improve, and then finally you're flowing with it. So that's the whole point of this playlist, all right? So what you can do here, again, I'm losing my train of thought, is just make up your own little exercises, all right? So again, I need you to connect dots too. There's certain things I didn't put on this charts, but for example, this E blues pentatonic position right here, you have an E minor bar chord right there, okay? Now if that went over your head, don't worry. Again, I'm gonna keep telling you, if you can only take one piece of this lesson, do it, okay? Okay, here's your first test question. Can you answer it? What are the 3 notes that make up a G major triad? Don't cheat. Just see if you can get it. And if you don't know, put in the comments, I don't know, but I will learn this, okay? I'm not gonna tell you the answer. All right, but here's E minor, okay? Okay, one more tip that I know you guys love. When I get lost and I'm thinking too much, I try not to drop the rhythm by hanging on that note. Okay, so there are the charts. We all have a lot of work to do. Notice how I say we, okay? Because I want to show you guys that I'm going to be committed to putting in the work you are. So if you don't have your guitar already or you're not near your guitar, watch this again later. Hit each of these chapters, and then I want you to just drop in the comments how it's going for you. All right, so what can we what can we do? What do we need to address in my mind right away that we need to work at, okay? Sorry, I need some iced coffee. I got to refuel here. Okay, we need to work with our G, our C, and our D in the open chord position. Now, I'm going to use a pick, flat pick, right? Just picking, and I'm going to flip with my fingers. Now, I might be totally not doing this correct at all, okay? But again, I haven't put in the work, I haven't done the research, which I will do moving forward, and I'll tell you when I do that. But I wanted to be as clueless as possible, all right? So G, let's see what we can do on a G. If you just take this away, here's a little exercise for the G open chord, okay? Now you can fret it like this, you know, where you're just getting the G on the high E. Or I like to play a G like this, right? Take my 3rd finger and get that D in there, which is also the 5th. There's a little hint, that's a part of the triad, all right? So I'm gonna pick the low E. Now I gotta be honest too, I haven't done a lot of hybrid picking where I'm holding the pick and hitting with my fingers. Most of Billy, he had a pick the whole time. Now I know he's an amazing finger player too, obviously, but in that Beato interview, he was playing with the pick, and he almost has I kind of figured this out last night. There's this circular flow to this, so this is foreign to me too. And you'll tell me if you know what I mean. If you're a bluegrass player, am I onto something? Let's get to this. So pick, flick, pick. Picking the low E, flick, pick the A and flick, pick, flick, pick, flick. I might be not even doing this, I might ditch this down the road, but for now, this is all in A note. I'm trying to get it to sound bluegrassy, and obviously in bluegrass, they have that moving bass line, or they're arpeggiating pieces of the chord constantly, and it's amazing, and I don't know what I'm doing, but we're going to. Real slow, pick, E, flick, pick, A, flick. And obviously I'm fretting the major 3rd, B. Now try this, pick, flick, back to the E, pick, flick. This time when you pick the A string, hammer on. So, see that? again, we don't have any charts here. Now you have access to the charts. I'm just coming up with some licks in my head that are based off of the charts. Now I'll probably cheat and look at some of the E blues scales to kind of throw licks in there too. All right, so okay, there's that. Now let's go to the C chord. Okay, let's just do an open C. Now same concept. We're gonna pick we got our third finger on the root on the D on the A string on the 3rd fret. There's your C, and then I've got my 2nd finger on the major 3rd E on the 2nd fret. Same thing. I'm just moving it down. I'm picking the A, flick, pick the D string, flick. Now there's one move I definitely know bluegrass players do a lot. They hammer on that on the G string on the 2nd fret. Okay, because that's part of that little blues chromatic. So let's just stick to the C. I know I'm jumping all over, but look, we're like fleshing this out. We're frameworking this. We're building, right? We're in the building phase. We're experimenting. So you might come up with something totally different. Now I am committed to staying with the pick because in the end, there's certain things I want to be able to get and build upon, and I'm not going to get it if I don't do that, okay? They do that too. See that little walk down right there? That's part of that chromatic run. So they do B flat, B flat A, open G, and they go back to the G. But they almost do it like Billy was doing it so, well, first of all, he's doing it lightning fast. So my head was just, as my jaw dropped to the floor, my head spun backwards. If you watch that video, definitely let me know. I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. But again, it inspired me to make this video for you, so you can see me just, I don't want to use the word suck, negative word, fail. Fail is like, failure leads to success, right? Okay, let's see. Back to this C. Let's see if I can go C to G. Do it with me. Real slow. C. I have no idea. We're not even gonna try a metronome here because no, we need to just like flow here and derail our train all the time and just put it back together and get it back on the tracks. I just feel cool doing that, even though that was awful. Again, look, we gotta have some fun. Let's have some empathy for ourselves, all right? And for each other. This is not gonna be a pretty process. So right there, let's do G. If you just get this, okay? If you just take this from today, just get pick, flick, pick, flick, pick, flick. Now, I know the bluegrass guys, the true flat pickers, I don't think they're doing the flick thing. They're doing, I can't even do it. That's how. That's why I said they've got like this circular flow. Okay, so I'm gonna stick with my pick and flick because at the very least, I'm gonna come away with kind of my own style or vibe of doing this. So even if I don't become I think it's like any genre. If you want to reach the peak of that genre, you almost have to fully dedicate most of your guitar bandwidth to that. But at the end, I'm still gonna be a songwriter. I love all the 90s stuff, but this bluegrass stuff, I know I can work in some of these elements into my playing, so, okay. Now let me show you a couple of really cool licks that I came up with on the couch. Now that I will tell you, I did sit here, because I can't come into this lesson fully unprepared, but check this out. This is a cool one. So I'm gonna do the G, the C, okay, G. Now when I go around to the D, I do like that little turn. I'm gonna do this thing, remember on the Triad, remember that gave you the charts, I'm gonna go pick D, I'm gonna slide up and hit part of that Triad, and then the same thing on the C. Back to the G. Now, this is gonna not look very pretty, but here's kind of the idea. So let me do the whole progression. Tell me what you think and see and ask me questions if this doesn't make sense. But let me play it regular speed. It's gonna be a disaster, but watch this. See, that was totally rhythmically not right, but again, I'm just friends. See, I went. Oh, that's what you gotta get. See, that's what these bluegrass pickers get. They're masterful with the open strings and fitting those into the pocket. So in order to get this, what I'm doing is I'm hitting the D open, and then I'm sliding up to that D triad shape. It's on the chart, okay? So you have it. And then they'd use that open string. It's like this flowing thing. See? See? That's almost like an extra. That's when I really want to get that little. Okay, again, you guys, wait. You gotta laugh at yourself. You guys just witnessed. I was trying to like take off, and I forgot to put like the, what do they call that? The rudder. Or I forgot. I forgot to attach one of the wings, and my plane went. All right, but that's what this is. You guys need to see this on this channel, right? So tell me if you're digging this. All right, so let's see what else. This is a lot, okay? But again, grab the little book, look at different parts, and just slowly put this together. Maybe do something really slow. Oh, before I forget, remember I showed you there was that purple note on the C and the D? Okay. There's this really cool lick I discovered you could do where you go. Just looks like that when you're doing that A bar, because that's really what that is. It's that A bar shape. See, that sounds bluegrassy, right? Watch. Okay, so that's a really cool one. Real slow. And almost sweep it. So you're gonna have all these like, even though the whole big picture here, rhythmically speaking, because you guys always know, I'm always saying rhythm is king, rhythm is queen, and that is true, but however, I don't have the whole skill set in order to do that yet. So, but what I can at least do is keep a solid rhythmic feel, build that internal rhythm inside of the little licks I do. So, oh, here's another one you can do too. So on the charts, you have these three positions. So G triad, this is on the G, B, high, E. Okay, so that's just G, D, C. So you can do a little look like this. Just go real slow. So again, and you have, remember, that's why I isolated some of those little blues runs. Now, of course, I want to take off and play lightning fast because bluegrass sounds cool. But we got to start slow. You always got to go slow, fight the urge, but throw in some fast runs. Just have your plane hit the ground, nose dive into the ground, pull up. But that's okay, as long as you're having fun, right? So let's see. Okay, but try and get G. And if you can't do any of the hammer-ons and pull-offs, just get this. That's gonna be hard enough. Now here's another cool little one. This little one right here, pull off high E, pull off B. This is on the 3rd fret, okay? So E, high E, pull off, B string, pull off, 3rd fret. Then do that little blues part right here, 2nd fret G, pull up. So do like little fills, like little runs in it. Now you also have this one here. Again, I made you the charts. That actually, to come to think of it, that is one lick. I think I asked my Uncle Jack. He said I played. I was living in New Jersey at the time. He said, "Oh, you guys play those New Jersey blues." That was a horrible Arkansas accent. But he showed me this one lick where it was G, and then you like this G, pick open, and then you just hammer on. Yeah. See, there's so many little pockets of great exercises in here for you to get the rhythm going. But just see what you can come up with musically. Hopefully this is inspiring you to go on this journey with me. So if you want me to turn it into a playlist, good, because I'm going to. But grab the charts and just, go slow. Just get some of those little blues runs. You could even do things like shank. Okay? But it's super fun when you kind of get the flow going. But see if you can get this. Whew, I'm sorry I was all over the place, but look, I'm having fun. I want you guys to have fun with me. I'm going to keep up all the regular lessons. I know this was a lot, but grab the charts. They're linked in the description below. Hit the like button so we can help more people fail and succeed at bluegrass. And I think at the very end, I think it'd be really cool if we can create some kind of song in the vein of bluegrass. And what I'll do before I do the next video in this playlist is I will do some research. I'll see if I can come up with some different licks. I did notice too, Billy just took his capo and moved it up a lot, so he was still playing a 1-4-5. He just used his capo to shift the key. So again, all you're doing in that case is you got all these shapes. They would just be moving up on the fretboard. And they did that a lot, come to think of it, in Arkansas in those blues groups I go to with my uncle. Lots of capo stuff, just to shift the key and make the chords more accessible. But just have fun with this. Maybe one last thing, maybe just try something slow with the minor 6, like here, and then the G. So shank, I say I already did it wrong. See, again, my brain is so discombobulated by all this because, we stay in our comfort zones and we don't break out. So I'm going to keep doing stuff like this on here for you guys so you can come along with me. But let me know, what did you learn? Okay, so the question, remember, how do you make a G major triad? And then here's the last question before we wrap this up. What note do you need to add to E minor pentatonic to make it E blues? Drop your answers in the comments below. Drop jellyfish, drop your favorite sea creature. Definitely tell us where you're watching from. And I definitely would love to know, do you know Billy Strings? Did you watch that Rick Beato interview? If you didn't, go watch it. And just realize every single player in the whole world has something they need to work on. That's what I love most about music and this instrument. It's so deep. We'll never know it all, but being human is just part of the journey. Some days we're going to feel good, some days we're going to feel bad, but fail, get up. Just never fail and not get up. So when you've, and a lot of people do, they fall and they never give up, they give up, and that's just, we're not going to do that. Because remember, only you can stop you. You won't stop, keep going, check out these videos. You guys know the drill. You guys are pros. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.